In this video, I'll be showing you how to configure the network settings of your Windows Server 2016 on your vSphere client. I have recently restored this particular virtual machine on initial setup, and I need to configure its network settings, allow remote connections as well so that I can remote desktop into it so that it will be much easier for me to configure. So let me show you how to do that. Right, so we are now on my vSphere client. This is the newly restored back from initial setup configuration. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and log in into my virtual machine. Okay, I would like to remote desktop into it instead of connecting directly, right? Because there's actually a lot of issues with controlling it from the vSphere client. For you to actually control it, you have to make sure that it's actually expanded properly. So if your screen is smaller, it's a little bit difficult because you have to scroll down, scroll left to right to actually view the whole um, screen for your virtual machine. All right. So first, what we need to do is to check whether it actually has an IP address set up for it. So let me just find my mouse. Okay, so if you can see, my mouse is actually inside the console right now of the vSphere client. For you to get out of that so that you can control this scroll bar, okay, on my right, you have to press Control and Alt so that you can control this scroll bar so that you can go down. All right, so it's a little bit difficult to control, so that's why I wanted to do remote desktop to it so it's much quicker and faster for me to configure it. Okay, so I always have to click on Control Alt all the time to get out of the vSphere client and then go back in. So first what we need to do is to just check whether it does have a TCP/IP version 4 that is configured and set up. Okay, so it does have it. So that's fine. Let me just go back to control panel and check for firewall settings. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going back to control panel and going to system and security, check for Windows firewall. Okay, make sure that the firewall is actually turned off so that my remote session will not be an issue, later on. Because if you don't turn that off, then you will have an issue to remotely connect unless you allow um, the remote desktop to go through the firewall rules following this allow an app or feature through Windows Firewall. Okay, so if you want to keep it, just make sure that you configure it from here. So for me, I'm just going to be turning off the firewall because this is actually a lab server. So I guess I don't need the firewall right now to be set up and configured. But again, for your own sake, please do configure them. So I'm going to allow remote desktop right now so it's much easier for me to control. Okay, um, and that's about it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it allows you to identify how to configure the the vSphere VMware server from your vSphere client and to allow remote connection into it.